Happy New Year! January brought some sad news. Monica's grandmother passed away, leaving it to the Power Surge girls to save the arcade. Meanwhile, Tim gave Rhyme a charm bracelet. Rhyme, however, wasn't sure about her own feelings. Over the arcade, the boys wondered what to do over ski week. At the elementary school, love is in the air. Harmony watched all of her friends coupling off because Valentine's Day, while Manny and Mr. Dodgeworth fought over who directed Cinderella.
You call that suitable?
Manny. Probably a good time to hit the books, so Harmony went over to Mr. Hug's tutoring center for some extra help, and all of a sudden, it was ski week. When the call came from famed and fearsome record producer Robin Robbins, Ellie took Rhyme and Harmony all the way to her Sunny, California to watch the jumpstart of her music career. They weren't the only ones who were heading west. Ace and Flash and TK decided to go to LA and visit Flash's dad. Harmony got discovered on the beach.
Alright kiddos, it's showtime.
And Rhyme met the mysterious Robin Robbins. Over in Hollywood, Ace buddied up with Flash's dad assistant, Babs. In Attaway, the girls tried to borrow money from the Millwood bank to save the arcade. No dice. Manny and Mr. Dogsworth held auditions for Cinderella. Sky got the lead role. Back in Malibu, Ellie swore on Robin after she suggested Brooke as the stage name. Robbie revealed his feelings for Rhyme, but she wasn't sure about him. Flash patched things up with his dad, and just like that, it was time to go home. Which was good news because the arcade was about to go under. The chicken girls showed up just in time.
Get your dancing shoes ready. You're gonna need them.
So it was the bank who couldn't take over. After Cinderella, Sky threw a wild party which turned into a major disaster. Rhyme fell asleep under the arcade when TK woke her up. She told him she loved him too. It was super cute.
Love you too.
And just like that, it was springtime in Attaway. And also in Millwood, we got our first glimpse of the town over meeting. Cassie, Kate, Jenna, Diana, Morgan, and Autumn. Cassie was a bit of an A, let's say, dreamer, like what her friends didn't know was.
Sometimes I still live on the moon.
But when Kate moved to town, she hatched a plan to get her friends back. Unfortunately, Diana had very different ideas, and both of them involved Brayden. Meanwhile, in Attaway, Ace threw his big birthday party at the roller rink. Rhyme and TK were all like, maybe yes, maybe no, but then they decided to give it a go as just friends. Did I mention Kate moved to town? Well, she wasn't the only one. First of all, Paige, all of a sudden she was Harmony's friend, which was not welcome news for Sky. Next up, Mac. She moved from Seattle, catching the eye of local guitarist Danny, and catching some shade from Sandy, the piano player. And all of a sudden, everyone was on stage together singing their breakout hit, Overnight. Last but not least, meet Max, a computer programmer forced out of town by an evil tech company. Max arrived in Attaway with her parents, and a little piece of software known as Gil. Also, after learning the ropes in LA, TK and Flash made their own student movie called Keys. Back in Millwood, Cassie fell right into a trap when Diana invited her to a party, only to embarrass Cassie with photos of all of Cassie's sketches on her notebook, including plenty about her crush on Brayden. When he saw how Diana treated Cassie, Brayden realized Diana might not be the one for him after all. The state dance competition was coming up, and the Attaway dance team found out that they didn't have enough members to compete.
What?
Panicked, they had to audition new people and ended up bringing Naomi and Frankie into the fold. Meanwhile, the overnights were getting more popular, but that didn't mean that their problems were all solved. While band manager Dustin and drummer Steph tried to keep everyone together, Danny and Max started spending more time together, upsetting Sandy, who didn't even realize their bassist Cooper was in love with her.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Getting used to life in Attaway, Max formed an unlikely friendship with Gil, who helped her deal with Ava, a not very nice girl at school. Ava was secretly trying to help her dad locate Gil's hardware, and so she gave Max boy advice when she and her next door neighbor Bobby started falling for each other. Meanwhile, Sky fought with Paige for Harmony's attention, and the whole class went on a wild road trip that ended up stranding the class in a cave with poisonous snakes and a band of rogue children. Having finally made it to the state dance competition, the chicken girls settled down for some bonding time with Power Surge and the Millwood dance team. But their innocent night of fun turned wild when Autumn suggested they had to play 7 Minutes in Heaven. Rooney and Hamilton shared their first kiss, and then Rhyme and TK ended up together, but decided to wait for the right moment. Meanwhile, in Millwood, with the talent show on the horizon, everyone tried to figure out what their talent was. After Kate and Brayden started secretly hanging out, they decided to do a magic show together. Jenna and Cassie planned to dance. Love triangle alert, Jenna made a move on Sam and got rejected. But not before Kate got suspicious and told Jenna it was him or her. Jenna chose Kate. As the government continued to try and track down Gil, Max and her new robot brother bonded as Gil tried to teach Max how to interact with her classmates, which worked out really well until Gil followed her to a party and embarrassed her in front of all her friends, including Bobby. But in the end, Bobby and Max got together thanks to a little push from Gil. Speaking about get-togethers, what about Cassie and Sam? At the talent show, Cassie saw Kate and Brayden holding hands during her performance, causing her to flee the stage, have it out with Kate, but spend a tender moment with Sam. Aw, cute. At the competition, Birdie wanted to tamper with Power Surge's music, but Autumn beat her to it. Bad idea. Millwood was disqualified, handing the victory to Power Surge. After the competition, the chicken girls met up with their parents, and Tim Sharp exposed the truth about Robin Robbins, who had been taking advantage of musicians for decades. Everyone sang Birds of a Feather together and all seemed right in the world. Until the big spring fling dance, a new principal filled in, and she hated singing and dancing.
No singing in the hallways!
She even canceled the dance and instituted
a test.
That's when Rhyme and her friends came up with a plan to save the dance. Meanwhile, TK and Flash worked on a secret project together. Rhyme and her friends helped save the dance, but the new principal said only students who passed the test could go to the dance. Oops, Rhyme didn't study, so she was disqualified. TK left to find her. Little did he know, her friends came up with a plan to sneak her in. Rhyme was allowed to stay. After the dance, Rhyme came home disappointed that TK wasn't at the dance, only to discover him there. He showed her the movie he made, and they shared their first kiss.
And just like that, it was summertime. It's not all about the moon in Millwood. This is motocross country too. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Luke Dungy, heir to legendary racing family, came back to his town with high seats, setting on the rising to the top. Luke went up against Johnny, beginning an epic rivalry. It didn't help that Luke got friendly with Johnny's girlfriend Autumn, the daughter of the racetrack owner Rick. Luke also cozied up with Sabrina, a dancer with big dreams. On the other side of town, Attaway Jr. Drew was putting her career before schoolwork. She was desperate to become a music producer like, you guessed it, Robin Robbins. After Robin built her studio in the arcade, Drew applied to a job. Too bad Robin never gave her the time of day. Remember Grandma Kathy? Her granddaughter Monica discovered her old journals. That year, Kathy met another girl from the other side of the tracks named Joe Chambers. At first blush, Kathy and Joe couldn't have been more different. While Kathy was from a wealthy family and had a handsome boyfriend, Joe was from the other side of tracks. But Kathy's perfect world quickly became to a crumble. Her charming boyfriend was cheating on her with her best friend. And worse, her parents may be involved in a tragic fire that killed Joe's mom. Back to the future. New coaches Mason and Cody were left in the remains of once a great cheerleading team. If they wanted to bring Boss Cheer back, they knew they had to work together. They held tryouts for new members. They discovered a star in making, Danny. Oh, and remember when I said Harmony got her big break in California? Well, after getting noticed, she was cast in a show called Hotel Dulune, about a girl named Jazzy.
These adults are out of their minds!
Jazzy met Toby, the son of the hotel chef. The two quickly became best friends, an amateur sleuth.
Sounds like another mystery. You in, Detective Graham? I don't know, I'm really more of a desk cop.
Speaking of sneaking around, Robin started going out of town, and Drew used the studio to start her own label. That's right, Baby Doll Records. She helped the Overnights make a new song. In Millwood, Johnny tampered with Luke's bike, and Luke spun in the regional qualifier. Over to Tinseltown, Jazzy and Toby were solving lots of mysteries. The missing ingredient, the phantom of the hotel. But their friendship was tested when Toby's dad came back in town and wanted to move Toby back with him instead. When Robbie discovered what Drew has been doing, she threatened to sue Drew, getting her into hot water. But when music competition came into town, Drew couldn't help but submit the tune that was undiscovered. And super cute, singer Miguel.
School's back in session. Over in Millwood, Cassie and Sam are now officially a couple. Kate, on the other hand, broke up with Braden. Mr. Lane made all the kids find their thing, prompting Cassie to take dance lessons, where she met Julian. On the other side of Millwood, Luke and Sabrina continued sneaking around. A new rider named Celeste showed up and threatened to knock Luke and Johnny off the top. Johnny started looking into her past. Chloe got taken by Child Protective Services. Sabrina called it off with Luke and tried to visit Daniel. She started auditioning for a prestigious dance program. Don't forget Attaway. The Chicken Girls were officially high schoolers and the drama got real. Rhyme discovered that TK's parents were getting divorced and TK might go home with them to Texas. Rhyme tried to convince him to stay, but TK left town. Across town, Luke got closer to Autumn and Johnny outed Celeste as Rick's daughter, meaning Autumn could get a new sister. Rick cut Luke from the racing team, causing him to spiral, but he got by with a little help from his friends. Kate and Cassie ran into problems of their own, and then Cassie broke up with Sam. Things started heating up with Julian, but then Diana joined dance class and got in the way. With money problems at home, Jenna started shoplifting from the store Kate worked at. Cassie caught her and promised to keep her secret. Manny entered a competition for the energy drink company, Jitterbug, only to realize it was for kids. Luckily, he's a teacher. Because she was on Hotel Dulune, Harmony wasn't allowed to compete. Manny also found out that Sky's parents might lose their house, so Harmony dressed up as Hank to help the group win the competition. With TK gone, Rhyme dropped off the dance team, auditioning instead for the school musical where Drake was lead in the school play. The rest of the Chicken Girls butted heads with the Queen Bees, older girls who ran the squad. Ellie got recruited to become a bee and changed her name to Brooke, with a B. Daniel got out of rehab and back together with Sabrina. Luke, Johnny, and Celeste all competed in the state championship race and Celeste won the race. Everything seemed okay until Autumn and Celeste showed up at the house with some potentially bad news. Bad news travels fast. Have you heard of Bad Birdie? After her dad left, she fell for resident bad boy Spike. The two caused havoc in Attaway, vandalizing a sign at the pep rally. Birdie got suspended, and she and Spike ran away. Rooney started hanging with Stephanie from the Overnights, while Hamilton and Quinn found a real connection. Rooney ended it with Hamilton and gave her sister her blessing to date her ex. Robbie Robbins returned and started living with Ellie. The two fell for each other just in time for Robin Robbins to swoop into town and take Robbie away again. Sky thought Harmony had abandoned her and befriended Goth Girl, who she turned into G-Baby. When Manny realized Paige could rap, he convinced her to join the crew. But they soon learned the Jitterbug competition was all a cover. It was actually a test for Mr. Miyoshi to find his one true heir, Manny found out Jitterbug employees Miss Hirota was evil and tried to keep the company for herself. In Millwood, Diana blackmailed Jenna into being friends again. Then Kate got fired for shoplifting and Cassie took the blame for herself. Not knowing it's really Jenna, Kate was confused why Cassie was taking the fall. At the winter formal, Julian showed up, but as Diana's date, not Cassie's. And if things couldn't get worse, Cassie got arrested for shoplifting. Jenna was bummed out and wished she could have saved the day. With Sky's help, they all escaped the factory. Manny put all the pieces together and Mr. Miyoshi turned out to be Sky's grandfather. With the Jitterbug money, Sky's house was saved. But the show must go on. At the school musical, Rhyme took the role of Juliet to Drake's Cowboy Rodeo. Ellie found out that Beatrice was going to humiliate Tim Sharp, so at the school dance, the chicken girls band together to expose the bees for who they really are. Robbie returned for a romantic winter formal with Ellie. Drake and Rhyme also finally started dancing, but everyone's romance was cut short when Rooney got a phone call. Birdie was in the hospital. The girls rushed to be by her side, and Rhyme found TK in the hospital. With everyone out on winter break, the last thing left in 2018 was the holiday season. Everyone's heading to the Millwood Galleria. See you there, Brat fam.